Alright everybody, Thunder Ridge Homestead here, and I've got to give you this first glimpse just here out the window in our garage because I wanted you to be able to see the sheep and what they are doing. They are eating grass, and we are still having a little bit of grazing here on our stockpiled grass, but they're standing around hovering because it's time for me to feed. And once I go out this door, everything's going to break loose. So I wanted you guys to see the peace before the storm. And I'm just going to take you along this afternoon on little winter chores. See if we can do this. Our first winter stop is the hens. And as you can see, they're all happy and healthy and have been doing well all winter. This one hen here that we have has started to crow and carry on, and he turns out he's our new rooster. He is a black, I believe a black copper Marin, but like I said, I purchased him to be a hen, and guess what? He's not. But my grandson's thrilled because my grandson's always wanted a rooster, so now we have him. Anyway, they're all here snacking and eating, having a good old time. And this is our starving horde. There's our little ram, Ira, who is a giant pain in the neck. Let's see if I can get these people fed, and then we can have a more normal life. Red, are you hungry? Huh? Crazy thing. Okay. Put food for her in there. Yeah. I know. Sorry, it was a little bit difficult to see what we're doing. This is Dot, and she is our adult sheep ewe. She is bred by the little ram lamb Ira, and she's due to be having some babies along the end of March, as I believe are they all. They're going to be late March or early April. But she, as you can tell, is quite fat and sassy and healthy, and she will eat all the food. So she has to be fed in this pan here. Really, she needs very, very little grain. I'm giving them some alfalfa pellets and a little handful of scratch grain. This is a wintertime feed for the sheep because they are pregnant, and I'm trying to keep them in good health. I do believe in deworming my sheep. These girls were dewormed about probably 2 weeks ago, and they are looking good and healthy. Over at this end of the farm, we have the young stock. The two black ones are ewe lambs. The one giant fuzzy butt facing me here is another ewe lamb. These are all this year's babies. They were born in March or April of this year, and they are all pregnant also. Katahdins are able to be bred the first year as long as they have reached at least 80% of their growth. And my smallest ewe lamb right now is about 110 pounds, so she's well over 80% of her adult growth. She should be about probably between 120 and 145 when she gets full grown, so she's real well into her growth, so it's not harmful for them to be bred at all. And they will produce hopefully lambs this spring. If they were small or had any kind of health issues, you should wait to breed them. The little hairy job to your right, that's our little ram lamb. He was the one that was a triplet, and he was so stunted to start off with, and he had health issues to start off with, and he is still smaller than the girls, but he is able to get his job done, and that's all that he's here for. His genetics should be better than him individually, because his sire is registered Katahdin. His mother was a really nice looking doe, and like I said, he was a triplet lamb, so he should be pretty good genetics. I also saw his full brother, so I know what he's capable of producing. He's just a little bit on the small side at this point still. I haven't been doing very many outdoor videos for several reasons. First of all, winter's difficult, it's hard, it's cold, but partly too, winter is a hard time for me with my arthritis. I do have problems. I've mentioned this in several videos before. I have chronic psoriatic arthritis. I have neuropathy in both feet, and I have asthma. I notice a lot of times if you guys hear me on my videos, you'll hear me puffing and huffing and breathing really bad, and that's my asthma problems and breathing issues. But wintertime brings out the best in all of those things, and there have been a few days just this last week that I couldn't even hardly walk across the floor, much less get out to take care of animals. I'm all the time telling you guys how it's so important to have your homesteading done head first, and this is why I know this to be a fact. I have things set up so it's pretty easy to take care of and maintain, because my husband, who is not the homesteader, he can take care of things for me when I just can't. I try to have things fairly easy, so even on a bad day I'm usually able to stand out here and throw out a couple of scoops of grain. Like I said, the reason I am graining these animals, they are still growing their bodies as well as being pregnant, so they do need the extra calories. And this is Dot trying to sneak up and get everybody else's food, and you can see why she doesn't need any. She is a perfect example of a good Katahdin. You can see that bag on her. She's pregnant, but she's not ready to have a lamb yet. But she's got a good bag, and she's nice and wide, and healthy, and fat, and slick, and sassy. And she just doesn't need the extra calories. She gets plenty from the hay that we feed, and I feed good hay. You are what you eat. I eat these sheep, and I want them to eat good as well. The mix, like I said, I've been giving these girls and our little ram lamb is I'm giving them alfalfa pellets and some scratch grain. Yep, that's Eula. And like I said, they just go to town. They eat pretty well, these guys do. They don't really have that much trouble with them pushing and shoving on each other, and they seem to all get a pretty fair share. As long as I keep the big fat one out of the picture, we're in business. It's cold out here, and I see my battery's fading fast, so I don't know how long we're going to keep shooting. Let's see how long this battery holds up. But they're scarfing down their food, as they should. And so if I can get here sideways with Eula, you can see that she is pregnant. She's got that little baby bump belly down below, and so do the twins. These two twins here, both Rosemary and Time, they both have the little baby bumps. They don't spring out and show as quickly as a sheep that has already had babies. Just kind of like if you know anything about women, your first child you may get by and tell everybody you're not pregnant, but the second one, your belly just happens as soon as you get pregnant. It seems like it doesn't take long before everything just hops down into place. I've got Time for sale. because I'm trying to keep my stock to a dull roar that I can handle. And 3 ewes is a sufficiency. Ira will probably end up in the freezer sooner rather than later. I just usually don't keep my rams more than a year. When he gets a little bit fatter, he's probably going to go to the deep freeze. Maybe I'll sell him, but quite honestly, he has kind of an attitude. He was a bottle baby, and he's not the best. Everybody wants to pet the bottle baby, and he's got a little attitude on him, so he might not be the best one to have for a ram for your flock. Aren't you a pain in the butt? Anyway. Okay, they've got their grain, so now it's time to go off and get their rest of the food taken care of. Like I said, we've got a lot still going on out here. This is the tree that the neighbor's tree that fell on us. It's down. I still haven't got it cut up to be removed yet. Pasture pen is sitting on idle. We have our turkeys doing well. I have sold any of the adult turkeys that we had that were young this year's babies, and we are down to just our basic breeding flock. So we are down to 4 turkey hens and the 2 toms, which is quite sufficient again for me to handle, and less feed for the winter as well. Here we are in the barn, and you can see our hay. Our hay supply was a nice big stack of hay, and it is dwindling. But that's okay. Oh, see how well I can do this one-handed. Okay. I've got 4 different hay feeders set up. I have this one. I have that one. I'm going to have to warm the camera up a little bit, I think. I do not mind telling you, this is very difficult for me to do with one hand. It's very difficult for me to do with 2 hands. Come here. Okay. Alright. Got hay in that one. Dot, get out. Got hay in that one. And here on the south side of the barn is where I've been doing the majority of the hay feeding for the wintertime. We've got this overhang here. It's got its problems because we still got roof panels missing and everything else, and more blew off the other day because we had another windstorm. But it's a good place for the sheep to eat. It's a sheltered area, and like I said, it's got southern exposure here. They've got protection from the wind basically on 4 sides, and they can get back in here and eat their hay. It's a good place for them. I also have their minerals set up back here. They have a loose sheep mineral as well as both a sulfur block. Hard to tell, the sulfur block's the big one, but it's kind of grungy right now. And then they have just a plain white salt block, and I keep that for them free choice so they can have what they want. We also have another mineral feeder here, and this is just where the sheep hang for the winter time for their majority of their food, their grass. I am feeding alfalfa hay to these girls, and again, it's because the young ones we have this year, I've got 4 that are 4 sheep that are basically yearlings. So they're still growing, so that's why I'm giving them some really good quality hay this year. Normally I would feed a mix of alfalfa and grass hay during the winter time, and then try to give them the best hay when they're first lactating in the spring, and giving them their grass and stuff too. So I do try to feed them well. I think it has results. Like I said, I've had problems with the old arthritis lately, and just simple things are difficult things. Okay, this stall is the sheep stall in the front, and that's where my lamb cam is up there. I know you guys have seen some of the videos that I've done of it, but this is their stall for very bad cold nights. This week we had an entire roof panel come off here, which is not good, but like I said, they're sheep. They have woolly jammas. We're hopefully going to be able to afford to get these roof panels fixed. This whole homestead has been a giant state of hard work ever since we've been here, and roof on the barn is not one of the things we've had happen yet. The turkeys, as you can see, have a great big feeder. Usually I only have to fill it up every couple of days. It could be filled with 25 pounds of feed if I chose, but I usually don't choose to fill it that full. But when I'm out of commission, I can have my husband fill this up full of food, and then all he has to do is water them. We can fill these hay mangers. This is a grass hay here that a friend of mine gave me. Her horses weren't eating it, and so we're putting it out for the sheep to eat on, as well as the alfalfa. They're just kind of doing a lot of tearing that up, as you can see, and spreading it around, but they need a place to lay down anyway and rest, and that's okay. This will all be scooped out and used as mulch or such like this spring, so it's not going to go to waste at all. But I can fill these feeders up. We can put a whole bale of hay out at a time. We can put, half a bale on this front, feed 2 feeders, another half bale on the back. It's set up that way. They don't eat that much, but that way it can be out. They can have hay the whole time. On days that I am not able to make it, and it just makes our chores easier for my husband to handle if he needs to handle it. Like I said, this last week he's had to handle it. Come on, turkeys. I'm going to put the turkeys in at night. Today they've just been in their little outdoor pen all day. Like I said, we've had a busy day, and I haven't really wanted to deal with them much, so I have to watch them and protect them less. We do have coyote issues here, so if I'm going to let them out into the pasture, I have to keep a little bit better vigil on them. We were gone a lot today, so they just stayed in their pen, but at least they get to have exercise and get outside no matter what. It's been above freezing. If it was a below freezing night tonight, I would be dumping their water bucket out, and then the next day we just have to put new fresh water. We carry water for these guys, and we'll carry water for the sheep. So by planning ahead and keeping everything organized and having everything in place, like I said, we can put the hay out enough for 3 days at once, and enough feed for the turkeys for 3 days at once, and then all it has to be taken care of is the graining once a night for the sheep, and making sure everybody's got fresh water. There's my crazy dog. Hi, man dog. He's a good boy. Yeah. He's my guardian dog. I'm gonna rumpus for you a minute. Well, like I said, it's a matter of keeping things to where we can handle it, making things easy as possible. In the wintertime, my chicken setup is my city bitty hen houses. We have 2 of them. one and that one. Right now I have 12 hens and a rooster that I overwintered. We need to get some fresh blood this coming spring. Normally, when my hens get to be about 2 to 3 years old, we eat them. I know. There's those of you out there that's just an atrocity, but that's what's normal. We have an egg. They are just starting to kind of pick back up with laying a little bit again. Yay! 2 more eggs. Believe it or not, when my husband's having his day, he often brings in these green eggs, which are the nest eggs. They're made out of wood, and I'll have him gather eggs and he'll bring those in almost every time, which I think is kind of funny. I painted him green on purpose so he'd have no trouble seeing which ones was which, and he still gathers the wooden egg. But I love him, he tries to help me. Anyway, these are the 2 city bitty hen houses that we have set up. They are very easy, very easy for us to take care of. Like you see, I have to gather the eggs from the outside. I usually try to add fresh bedding at least a couple of times during the winter. We kind of go on a deep bed system in this, but even at that, I can get 1 bag of shavings that'll handle both coops, and it keeps the hens nice and warm, and you know, it's all good. They have a, you see this front one, they have a plexiglass window in here so that I can open the coop up during the day, but I shut it at night just to keep them more warm. We had a few nights here where we had 20 below zero wind chill, and you know, that is ridiculous. I don't care where you live. You know, everybody seems to think Missouri's a warm place to live, but believe me, it's not. And when they had those kind of temperatures, I still let them out every day. They still come out of those hen houses every day, but they have this little outside, I call it their sun porch area, and it's just a little A-frame, pretty simply made, not in the best of shape anymore because it's been through a lot, but it gives them a place that they can go out and be outside in the sunlight if they stay out of the wind, and they will stand in that when it's really cold and spend a lot of time. I have hay in there for bedding. I feed them out here, you know, just right around the coops every day, and when it's really cold out, this is their water container right by the back door, and I just come out here a couple times during the day and put water in it, and that's where they come to get a drink. In the night, when I put everybody away and shut them up, I dump it out, and then the next thing I have to do is pour more water into it. Normally, you can't see this, but they also have a water container right there by the spigot, and that's where they go to drink. I don't use any heaters at all for any of my animals. It's just not cost effective, if you ask me. It's easier for me to break ice when I need to. The black rubber tubs are wonderful because they hold heat. The sunlight gets on them and they stay warmer longer. If you are a lazy homesteader, you want turkeys, because the turkeys go to bed before dark and they get up about 10 o'clock. The chickens, on the other hand, want to be up at dawn, and they don't go to bed until the very last dregs. The sun's going down, as you can see. Pretty nice. But I wanted you to see the water here. This rubber waterer, I've got it sitting on a tire, so it's up out of the snow. It's made out of natural rubber. They stay really warm and good, and this is my winter water bucket. And if I don't ever fill it all the way full, if I put 2 or 3 gallons of hot water from the house on it, It'll melt the ice enough that I can break the layer on it and the sheep can have plenty to drink. Sheep do not drink all that much. Maybe half a gallon a day when it's cold, less if there's snow. You want to be sure they have plenty of water, as much as they want, but it's not like when we had horses, even on cold weather, a horse will drink 3 to 5 gallons a day, and you know, that keeps the whole sheep flock. That would be more than enough for the whole sheep flock for an entire day. With this tub system, if I give them, you know, 2 or 3 gallons in the morning, I may give them another gallon in the evening as I feed them, and it'll keep them with plenty of fresh, open water all day long that way. The blue tub is what I fill up on nicer days, so they have plenty of water, fresh water. But when it gets really cold, I just let that tub freeze solid. No problem. We've still got hens out wandering, and they are not quite ready to go to bed yet. So usually what I do, I fed the sheep their grain, made sure we have hay, and all that's taken care of. And then I've just gathered these eggs. So we will go in, and I will put eggs away and warm up for a minute, and then I'll come out and shut the chickens up at night. In just a few minutes, I'll try to take you with me for that too. Okay. Hopefully they are all in bed now. Looks like it. And chores are done for the night.
Sage. Good morning, Sage. Go open chickens. Go pull, Sage. Go open chickens. Target. Good boy. Good boy. Oops. Good boy. Good boy.